ship medal. I mean, it's not a tough shot. And the way our society works, nobody can keep a secret. If there was a deep state, don't you think at least one person would come out and go to Simon and Schuster and write a book and make $1 million? At least one?
Right.
Because nobody can keep their mouth shut in this country. Nobody.
Except Hillary Clinton would have them killed before they was published.
Yeah.
So, I mean, because of course, the people on the right claim that the South Africa Delta variant is part of the deep state plan to keep focus away from the Epstein's assistant, the woman Gilshare or whatever her name is.
Right.
She's going on trial.
Uh-huh.
So now they're saying that that the South Africa variant is a distraction from that trial, assuming that this is the day that Bill Clinton is going to finally get his or whatever, which, I doubt that. But, so the right is now steeped deeply into these conspiracies. But unfortunately, the Democrats who have opportunity after opportunity to win over people like me, who vote split tickets, and they keep screwing it up. Because I'm sorry, this thing with there's a couple other things, but particularly this thing with Rittenhouse is deeply concerning to me because it's not just about the fact that they are going after a 17-year-old, now an 18-year-old. It's the fact that they're claiming that Rittenhouse is racist for killing 3 chronic criminals. I mean, let's be honest.
They were.
All 3 of them were criminals. And they're trying to say, and I'm hearing the head of the NAACP, said the Rittenhouse verdict was worse than the Emmett Till verdict.
That's just irresponsible.
No, he's the head of the NAACP that was involved in the damn trial. And he says that. And no, he doesn't believe that. He's not stupid. He's trying to speak to a certain part of the electorate that they think that's the energy. If you can get enough of these young cancel culture, cancellation people to vote, that they can win elections. It's a terrible deal, because for every one of those people who still hate everybody, you're going to lose a person who's like, wait a minute, I was going to finally give up on the Republicans. But the Republicans, at least with their crazy, there's a buffer zone where their local Republicans are very good at saying, yeah, Fox News, yeah, Donald Trump, yeah, Marjorie Greene, they're nuts. But I'm the Republican that we'll still get what we want. And that other side is absolutely crazy. The Democrats are not good at that, because you have Joy Reid, MSNBC, some people on CNN, mostly MSNBC, attacking anyone who sounds or smells remotely moderate. So the Republicans are winning this battle day in and day out. And it's because of people like Joy Reid and the other people on that MSNBC broadcast that are calling everyone under the sun racist.
Yeah.
So they're actually losing the Democratic Party its messaging, because that's the only station that represents Democrats really on TV.
Well, let me ask you a question, and I have I would say I have an opinion, and maybe it's maybe it's not an opinion based in fact, but maybe it's an opinion based in hope. But I see the tide starting to turn just a little bit with this stuff, with people just getting sick and tired and seeing through the baloney.
Absolutely.
I'm starting to see this with Dave Chappelle and the cancel culture.
Absolutely.
Because people, did Dave Chappelle say some things that are disparaging towards trans people? Yeah. But did he mean them in his heart? That's his shtick. That's his deal. It's called comedy. It's not good unless it's on the cutting edge. And to say that you need to cancel Dave Chappelle because of his comedy is like saying, well, now we need to cancel Anthony Hopkins because I saw in a movie where he kills and eats people. It's an act.
No, you joke about that. It's gotten that bad. there's the last Friday the 13th movie, The Return of Michael Myers.
The last one, the last one is till the next one.
Well, I'm just saying that one didn't even. I'm not giving. That one didn't even pretend to end it.
Okay.
They're saying that they just stopped pretending like they're gonna get rid of him. Michael Myers in the end just walks away. so they're definitely gonna have another one next year. But now they're trying to cancel Michael Myers because in the movie a gay couple buys his old house.
Yeah.
And Michael Myers goes in and of course kills him because that's what Michael Myers does.
Right.
So then there's a picture of them, the one guy with his head in the other guy's lap. So Michael Myers kind of recreates that picture.
Mm-hmm.
And they say that means he's homophobic.
That's a stretch. It's a slasher film. It's not a
They were seriously trying to cancel a serial killer.
Yeah. That's a made up serial killer.
Okay, it doesn't exist.
Yeah, that's just.
Michael Myers homophobic?
That's ridiculous, and I really do believe people are starting to see through this, and they're starting to roll their eyes, and it just these accusations just don't ring true. Kyle Rittenhouse is a racist. Now, if you want to talk about a racist, Travis and Gregory McMichael, who's the other guy? William Bryan, the three guys who were committed or who were convicted of killing Ahmand Arbery. Okay,
absolutely.
Those guys were racist. Three white guys who killed a black man because he was running through their neighborhood and they thought they saw him looking suspicious. So they got in their truck, loaded up the guns, and went out and killed this guy.
Right.
That's racist. Okay. And they didn't kill him because they caught him breaking into their house, because he was raping somebody, because he was molesting children. He was running down the street, and had he not been black, they would have never thought twice. That's racist. And the media was right to call it racist.
But here's the thing though. And because I decided to break down and watch. So I would do is Tucker Carlson and Joy Reid are on the same time, so I would kind of bounce back and forth to compare and contrast.
Mm-hmm.
And Tucker goes off the deep end sometimes, but over these last 2 weeks, no hands down, the Joy Reid show was by far more ridiculous, more crazy, and more completely stupid. So I'm watching this, and there's at least 4 or 5 times, and I've seen this in the news too, there are people saying, comparing the Ahmand Arbery trial to the Rittenhouse trial and saying the only difference in the two is that the judge in the Rittenhouse trial was biased. Because there's people actually saying that.
Yeah, and that's ridiculous. It has nothing to do.
So-called legal experts. And to me, I think that's actually racist on their part. You're comparing 3 white guys with criminal records. One of them a child molester. The other one is somebody who literally tried to kill his entire family and strangled his grandmother.
Mm-hmm.
To a black man jogging down the street doing nothing. Right. And they're saying, well, both are examples of white men being able to get away with being violent. And I'm saying, what is that saying about these far left people? What does that say about how they really feel about black people? You're saying Ahmand Arbery is no better than this Joe Rosenbaum guy?
Yeah.
Who molested 11 people? And they go, well, that shouldn't matter. I go, well, it didn't matter in the trial. The judge threw it out. Mm-hmm. The judge didn't bring it up. But if you're speaking on a moralistic basis, yes, if a 17-year-old kid with a gun, that's not illegal to have, actually, and that was another lie that was perpetuated by the media, that it was illegal for him to have the gun, which it wasn't.
It was not under Wisconsin law.
No, under Wisconsin law. So if you're in a riot and all of a sudden these people start running at you and you shoot the ones that attack you, and it turns out that the 3 people that attacked you all were felons, not only felons, but violent felons.
Yeah, violent felons, and I think 2 out of 3 had mental illness in their background as well.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. And the guy that kicked him, and they say he's a black. He looked darker than the other ones. I don't know that he's a black guy. They call him Jump Kick Man. They don't release his information. He's a quote POC. I don't know. but he kicked him. He had a criminal record. The guy that shot off the gun that actually created the whole thing, and the guy that was setting the dumpsters on fire with Rosenbaum, has a criminal record. And his wife has already served 9 months for setting the dumpsters on fire and obstructing the police. But you never heard about Zeminski and his wife. Because if they had interviewed Zeminski and his wife, if they had actually taken the Zeminski thing to trial, then Rittenhouse would have never actually, they wouldn't have been able to prosecute him, because Zeminski was the one. Zeminski would have had to testify, and he would have done it, because they would have said, hey, you're going to go to jail for 20 years and tell us the truth. What they don't tell you is Rosenbaum was walking around with this guy Zeminski, who literally looks like a white supremacist criminal. He looks like a guy from Sons of Anarchy, from the white supremacist gang.
Mm-hmm.
They were walking around, and he had a gun the whole time.
Yeah.
So how can you say that Kyle Rittenhouse having a gun provoked Rosenbaum to attack him, when Rosenbaum and the rest of these people who went after him were walking around with Zeminski, who was waving this gun around like a bunch of other people?
Yeah.
So the whole thing about him being provoked because he had a gun there is clearly a lie. It's clearly a lie.
Well, and that's it's good to present facts, and a good reporter presents the facts and only the facts.
Right.
When you start calling names, then you've lost me. Case in point, Kyle Rittenhouse is a racist.
Right.
But Darrell Brooks, he's the black guy in not Kenosha, Waukesha, in Waukesha.
Yeah.
He's black,
Right.
and he ran his SUV into a crowd of, I don't know if were all white people, but at least the 6 that died were white people. Killed six people. 60 plus of them are injured. Now,
didn't look like there were many black people in that group.
No, I didn't. I mean, 60 plus people. There could have been. I don't know, but this guy's never been called a racist, and no. Actually, I think that's accurate, because there's no, until there's evidence that shows that he ran this SUV into this group of people because of the color of their skin, you can't call him a racist. You can't.
And that's very interesting that you say that, because that would be the fair way to deal with both he and Rittenhouse, because they're trying to figure out why he did it.
Mm-hmm.
But if you look on his profile, which, again, it's questionable whether or not that's admissible in court. It depends on what comes out, if he talks or not. But ironically, on his profile, before he did this, he called Kyle Rittenhouse a racist and said he hates Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm.
And he also and he was a rapper, and he has a bunch of songs about, shooting people and this and that. But like you said, that's not necessarily admissible. But it's ironic that this guy had denounced Kyle Rittenhouse and then goes and does this. And we don't know why he does it, and we should wait for the facts.
Sure.
They didn't wait for the facts on Kyle Rittenhouse. I remember 4 or 5 times I turned on, flipped the MSNBC just randomly, and there's someone, they have a Saturday morning show, and Tiffany Cross, and they started the segment with this little racist that shot these 2 people. I'm still like, how is he a racist for shooting white people who were running at him?
Yeah. And
to me, it's more anti-black to connect the people he shot to black people than this. I think that's more racist than anything, Kyle. If I'm given a choice, hey, you can stand next to Kyle Rittenhouse or either of these 3 people that he shot, I'm gonna go with Kyle Rittenhouse.
Me too. And you talk about how that's disparaging against black people, and I agree with that, because if you paint everybody as a racist, when you get a true racist like the McMichaels or Brian, then you have people on the other side saying, well, this is just another group of people they're calling racist. So when you do have true racism, it doesn't ring true because you've used it 75 times in the past.
Right. You destroy the entire integrity of the remark.
You do.
And the fact was, and I asked 2 questions. One, what evidence do you have that he's a racist? before the shooting, because they're talking about that meeting where he met with the Proud Boys and he did a little sign. And I was like, okay, well,